Let's go ahead and write our event handler. Let me clean the code up here. I'm going to take out some of these extra lines. Okay. And this is important now. Up to this point, everything that we've written has been regarding the dog variable in the instance has all been contained within the constructor function. And the constructor function, if you remember, is will run automatically as soon as the program is opened. What we want to do now is write another function that's separate from the constructor function that will only run when the event listener is triggered. So what we're going to do then is go outside of the constructor function braces, but on the same hierarchy level here in terms of our organization, and we're going to create a new function. And we do that by using the keyword function, which we've already used up here. And we'll go ahead and do that. We'll say function space and now the name of the function we want to write, and that has to be the name that we used up here in our event listener. The name we chose was onDogClick in lower camel case, so we'll go ahead and write that here. Function onDogClick. Now we have to use parentheses here, and we write event colon mouse event in parentheses colon void and open curly brace. Now, to stay consistent with my formatting up here, I'm going to go ahead and put that curly brace on the next line down. And then, just because I'm being kind of a completist here, I'll go ahead and put the Flash did it for me. Very handy. ActionScript was kind of being nice to me and put the curly brace to conclude my function there automatically in for me. And, well, what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and I'm going to use the good old trace command. Trace you clicked the dog. End parentheses and semicolon. And make sure you end the quotation marks. So before we test this movie, I just want to go ahead and look at how we wrote this function. So we used the keyword function. We named our function. We specified in the parentheses, actually this is technically, it's a variable that's being passed on to the function of an event, a named event of the type mouse event. And now this is, we won't get into why that is, just take it on faith that this needs to be here in order for this event handler to work. So if you don't understand why that's there right now in all of its glory, don't worry about it, just go ahead and do it. And then we added after the parentheses this colon and void. And what that does is it just basically lets the program know that this is a function that's not going to return a value. And sometimes you need that, sometimes you don't, but it's just kind of it's a clean way to write things. So we've created our function, and then we've defined with another block statement what that function is supposed to do. So right now it's just going to trace you clicked the dog. So this is a good example, because remember we use our trace command when we just want to see if something's working, if something's hooked up, and because it's such a simple thing to have happen, we have a lower likelihood of making compound mistakes. So make sure you save your project, Command S, and I think we're ready to test the movie. Command return. There's our dog. Output panel shows the constructor function is go, so the constructor function is run. Now let's see what happens. If I move my mouse up here and mouse over, and click on the dog, we get down here in the output, you clicked the dog. Now, it has to be exactly on the lines, which is a bit problematic. It doesn't respond if I just click inside of the dog. And that's because we haven't defined a hotspot. And actually, if you pay attention to this, it's kind of interesting. Dog is a movie clip. It's not a button. And this just shows you that movie clips themselves can be clickable. Now, by default, the cursor does not change into a pointer finger like it does with a button. But we could add that functionality if we wanted to, or we can add a button. And so instead of having the movie clip itself be clickable, we can have a button within the movie clip be clickable. And that's the trick we're going to learn in the next video.